strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, there you go. You know it right away. It does not matter who the host is. Today is Wednesday, April the 27th of 2022, day 117th of the year, and only 248 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then, of course, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do stuff at. No, seriously, we really are.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Yes, the infiltration at Radio Big has started, so there you go. So let's start moving through the whole thing right away, going through all the stuff that is going on inside of the world here. So anyway, how was your overnight? Did you do anything cool? Did you do anything fun? Did you do anything that you would be proud about? As you are aware, the way that it goes inside of this multiverse of ours is that if you hang out with us, it's pretty simple on doing some of the things. If you want to kind of hang out, jump into our system and do the things that we get to do around here, all you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That is callinradio.com. So that will get you moving and grooving. That will get into your messaging system. That will get you into the video system. That will get you into the call-in system. So everything combined right inside of there. So not a problem whatsoever. All you have to do is go in to that section. So let's get into it right away. Let's start talking about what was trending inside of the world, what was trending inside of what was going on. So taking it from the very top, foodies celebrated National Pretzel Day on Tuesday. Several eateries gave away pretzels in honor of the day. So there you go. That was something that was going on. El Muerto was trending yesterday after Marvel announced a new film centered around the Spider-Man character. I think we should talk a little bit more about that because you might be intrigued with that one. Hashtags things you should never mess with landed on Twitter's top 10 trends on Tuesday. Tweets included teachers, a woman saying nothing, number 1. So there you go. Spitting on cobras. Number 2 was angry bears. Number 3 was angry hippos. And number 4 was stupid brainwashing cults. And then, of course, Ukraine. So that was things that was actually trending yesterday as you were hanging out on there. Ivermectin was trending yesterday, as well as users on Twitter shared their experiences with the drug. Several users also commented on Tennessee's lawmakers making it available for over-the-counter. So some stuff right there that's slightly different that probably you were not expecting real quick. Anyways, what else was actually coming about? Wicked was trending after it was announced about the upcoming film adaptation of the movie. So I have a question, because all of a sudden if Wicked's coming about, you're going to have to start thinking. The last film adaptation that you saw, something that was coming out in regards, wasn't Cats, came from Broadway over, and Cats did not do too well. Imagine all that scariness that was taking place right there. Hopefully Wicked can do much better, if not, surpass, if anything. So let's talk about some other things that are going on, because that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. Let's talk about what is going on inside of the world of books. Let's talk about the top fiction and nonfiction books currently on the New York Times bestsellers list. That is not an issue, so let's go from there. Taking it from the number 5 spot in the fiction category was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. At number 4 was Verity. At number 3 was Where the Crawdads Sing. At number 2, It Ends With Us. And at the number 1 spot, according to the fiction category for the New York Times bestsellers list, was The Investigator. So there you go. If we're taking it from the other side and we're going from the nonfiction all the way up, it goes like this. At number 5 was Bittersweet. At number 4 was Left on 10th. At number 3 was Hello Molly. At number 2 was The Body Keeps the Score. And at the number 1 spot, according to the nonfiction category on the New York Times bestsellers list, Freezing Order. So there you go. So I have to tell you, The Body Keeps the Score. It seems like to get off that list and then come back. So makes it pretty interesting to take a look around. So let's talk about this real quick because I think this is going to be important. So if you are not familiar with how the layout of the show goes, it goes something like this. We talk about safety in the news and safety, so not an issue right whatsoever there. So that happens. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They talk about what is going on. Then I come back and give you some jargon of some of the things that are happening inside of this world. So it makes it an interesting spin of things for sure. So with that being said, I think it might be time for us to bring in, the people that like to talk about the news. And we can go from there and start moving right away. Seriously, right away.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. There appears to be new fallout from the war in Ukraine. The Prime Minister of neighboring Poland says their gas supply was cut off today out of revenge for sanctions against Russia. Russia also suspended gas to Bulgaria for refusing to pay with Russian currency. The U.S. State Department is confirming a temporary return of some diplomats to Ukraine. Mark Mayfield reports.
Spokesman Ned Price said some members of the embassy team traveled to Lviv on Tuesday. Price said it's the first step ahead of more regular travel in the immediate future. He added preparations are underway to reopen the embassy in Kyiv.
More celebrities are leaving Twitter while others are losing followers. The social media giant says it's looking into massive deactivations after accepting Elon Musk's takeover offer. The most followed user, former President Barack Obama, lost 300,000 followers. The House GOP leader is expected to do some explaining today. Republicans are holding their first meeting of the week and want to know why Kevin McCarthy made certain comments about the Capitol riot. In new recordings, he can be heard saying some Republicans incited violence. In a conversation with the Minority Whip Steve Scalise, the two were talking about Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, that's it's potentially illegal what he's doing. Well, he's putting people in jeopardy.
There's a new push in Chicago to provide benefits to families of first responders who die by suicide. The mayor and city council support it. The proposal would give spouses of officers, firefighters, and paramedics the same benefits as families of cops killed in the line of duty. Tesla shares are down in pre-market trading after suffering a huge collapse Tuesday that wiped out $144 billion in value. Tesla's fall to $890 per share drove the electric car company's stock down 28% from its all-time high in November. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Poland says it will be able to manage after Russian gas supplies are cut. The most influential terrorist prisoners in the UK are going to be moved out of prison and into isolation. At least 11 people have died from electrocution and 15 others have been injured at a religious procession in southern India. And a Chinese Navy vessels entered Japan's territorial waters, the first confirmed intrusion of its kind since last November.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Southern Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert apparently spent time with the White House over the 2020 election. Brian Shook reports.
Court filings show an aide to former Trump Chief of Staff Mark Meadows told a congressional committee earlier this year she had seen the Republican at a meeting. The aide mentioned lobbying then Vice President Mike Pence to delay any election certification in hopes of keeping Donald Trump president. It's not known what Boebert's role in the meeting was. Boebert has denied trying to help pro-Trump rioters when they stormed the Capitol on January 6th.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff said Tuesday they were investigating a reporter who wrote about inmate abuse within the department. An LA Times reporter claimed in a recent article that the Sheriff's Department orchestrated a cover-up last year after a deputy was seen on surveillance video kneeling on an inmate's head for several minutes.
Somehow it landed in the hands of the third person, the reporter from the LA Times. Who did you get it from, and when did you get it?
At a press conference yesterday, Sheriff Alex Villanueva claimed that the reporter was connected to his political opponent and that surveillance video of the incident that was published by The Times was stolen property. He later clarified his comments and said the reporter was not under criminal investigation. A suspect is under arrest in connection with the death of a 10-year-old girl from Wisconsin. Chippewa Falls Police Chief Matthew Kelm says they arrested a juvenile on suspicion of killing Ileana Lily Peters.
The suspect was not a stranger. Suspect was known to the victim.
No word yet on how the two were connected. SpaceX is celebrating a history-making launch to the International Space Station. Trey Thomas with more.
4 astronauts blasted off from Kennedy Space Center overnight in a Dragon Freedom capsule.
And looking like a good separation, good rates. Dragon Freedom flying free for the very first time.
The crew is comprised equally of men and women, a first for NASA.
Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all gotta see this.
I don't even want to know what you're looking at on that phone.
Well, you should. I was learning about the dangers of high blood pressure and that we need to get ours checked regularly. High blood pressure can increase the risk of heart attack or stroke, but this text program can help keep it at a healthy range. Just text Barbershop to 97779 to sign up.
I'll get right on it as soon as I'm done with this baby panda video.
Text Barbershop to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was fine.
The most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Message. Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by...
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain, What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes, magic. It is magic. It isn't magic. It's something that's in the air. Anyway, so let's start talking right away about everything that is going on. So let's see if I can just give you a whole bunch of gibberish of stuff in one sequence. No, of course, I can't do that. So let's start talking about what is going on inside of the world of the news, because we got some news over there, we got some news over there, and we got some news coming your general direction right now. So here you go. Wimbledon announced Tuesday that it was lifting the vaccine requirements for competitors. Notably, Novak, I'm not going to butcher his last name, was unable to compete in the Australian Open in January because he chose not to take the COVID vaccine. France lifted its international travel vaccination requirement in March. Meanwhile, Pfizer filed for an emergency use authorization for a booster shot for kids 5 to 11 years old. So there you go. Some stuff to start talking about of how that's going to take a sequence of things. Meanwhile, let's see, worth asking, why still emergency youth authorization, especially for the age group least vulnerable of the sickness from COVID? I don't know, but it's something to talk about for sure. So what do you think about it in the emergency use authorization? Or do you think that it should be more along the lines of them actually, and I'm saying them, meaning Pfizer, trying to go through the normal methods of things opposed to trying to speed it up? I don't know. I'm asking you. You're supposed to know. I have no clue. I just talk about what's there. That's the easiest way to do it. Anyways, the SEC published particulars of the sale of Twitter to Elon Musk. The deal has to close before October the 24th. How come the October the 24th date sticks out in my head? There's something there. And if it doesn't, if Musk doesn't make good on his end of the bargain, he'll owe Twitter $1 billion. I mean, come on. If the dude was going to pay 44, I don't think he's really concerned about one. I mean, let's just be realistic. The widespread meltdown over Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter continued on Tuesday. In an anti-Musk editorial disguised as reporting, the Associated Press lazily laments experts who have studied the content moderation and research Twitter for years have expressed doubt that Musk knows exactly what he is getting into. And one of the problems that he has identified aren't felt by most users. So there you go. Worth noting, Musk is the reason the human development launched the vehicle rockets that have returned to Earth upright and are able to be reused. He can also probably figure out how to wrangle a bunch of, a bunch of people. A bunch of people that are not happy about this, I'm pretty sure. Meanwhile, prominent conservative commentators noted on Tuesday that their follower accounts has suddenly exploded, while other lefties described losing thousands of followers in droves. But of development comes as Twitter announced the locking of any changes to its algorithm and code structure, leaving many to wonder just how hands-on its employees have been in moderating accounts that expose, certain opinions. So here's the thing. And we talk about this, and I almost feel like I keep on repeating it and repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. You know that people are going to be pissed off about this. So let's just talk about it. You don't have to be on Twitter if you don't want to be on Twitter. And you can be on Twitter if you want to be on Twitter, but there is some terms of service that you must agree to. And that is where I get so kind of weirded out about how people interact with it. If you don't want to be on a platform, you don't have to be on a platform. If you don't agree, then you don't have to be there. But the terms of service is owned by the people that are actually providing the service. I mean, if you ever get bored, and the thing is that I get bored quite a bit, I sit down and read some of these terms of service and go, wow, I'm kind of amazed on some of the things that I'm willing to give up to be able to interact with these things. And then I go, well, there's just certain things that I'm not, so then I won't be participating in it. And then just to be clear, because I don't want people to get misconstrued here, yes, the stations are on Twitter. It's perfectly fine. Life will go on, dear John. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. An Ohio man is facing jail time after his 10-year-old daughter mistook his weed edibles for Easter candy and brought them to school to share with friends. Oh my! The kids were all hospitalized, and the dad is facing charges of child endangerment and possession of controlled substances. The man also tossed the remaining of the candies down the garbage disposal while investigators tried to speak to him. So he's facing obstruction of justice charge as well. He says that he had them since a trip in Colorado in 2018 and uses the edibles for pain management. So now the question becomes: is in Ohio, are edibles legal? Is weed legal? If it's not, then you know that he's going to go down through some other things, because all of a sudden now it's going to be like, so how the hell did you get them there? You crossed over a state line, and you already know the rest of the cluster F that's going to continue down that mess.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, the third grade class of a Phoenix area elementary school is reportedly receiving future full ride scholarships to college, courtesy of Rostowski Foundation. Supposedly, the only caveat is the kids must complete their high school diploma in the district and go to an Arizona State University. They'll also have to demonstrate actual financial need for the scholarship. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal. I mean, let's just be realistic. If you can pull that one off, go for it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, worth hoping. Remember that the horrifying, awkward episode of The Office where Michael Scott promised a bunch of elementary schools that he'd pay for their college and had to face the music years later? This feels way too much like that. No, seriously. It'll be interesting to see on how some of those things work. There is no doubt about it, as we are talking. Anyways, let's continue going down and about and down the path and taking a look. A Tennessee man keeps failing his written driving test because he's not offered it in his native language. Nagi Abasa moved to Nashville a few years ago from New Jersey, where he held a valid license. Now that it's expired, he needs a Tennessee license, but the written test is only offered English, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, and German. So far, Abasa has tried 14 times to pass the test. He speaks English, but he can't read it. So can somebody just not read the test to him? I mean, is that not something that's offered? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. Something to think about for sure as we are talking. Anyway, so let's get moving real quick. Let's get some Johnny Smalls inside of here. It is 24 minutes past the top of the hour, and let him tell us what is going on inside of the Market Beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Wednesday, April 27th, 2022. Equities resumed their downward trend Tuesday, reversing Monday's rebound on renewed fear of the FOMC. The tech-heavy NASDAQ Composite led the move with a loss close to 4% at the low of the session. The NASDAQ Composite is a growth-oriented index, and those stocks, particularly those that rely on debt to fuel their growth, are sensitive to interest rates and to the FOMC. Later this week, the selling may pick up momentum after the PCE price index is released. The index is expected to show another strong gain in year-over-year inflation and will start the second year of above-target consumer inflation gains. Regardless of the PCE data, the FOMC is on track to raise rates when it meets again in April. Weaker than expected data may reduce the urgency and pace at which they raise the rates, but will not remove the need for higher rates. The takeaway: the cost of business is going to go up when the Fed raises interest rates, and that may send the economy into a recession and the market into a tailspin. This report from MarketBeatMinute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for letting us know what is going on. You know, you listen to some of that stuff and you kind of go, okay, well, this is changing, this is occurring, that's happening, and you go, well, this is good, bad, and the ugly. But also at the same time, too, you go, well, is it worth its while? Is it not worth its while? I don't know. It's just a lot of things to think about as we are talking inside of this multiverse of ours. So what are you thinking about what is going on with the economy? I mean, do you look at it and go, okay, cool? Or do you look at it and go, we're going to have some problems? Because that's exactly what is going on for sure. Think about that.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
So there you go. Some stuff always going on inside of this world. Anyways, let's get into some more news because, you know, that's part of the reason why we're here 26 minutes past the top of the hour. Take a listen to this. Trump says he will not return to Twitter, whether he's allowed or not. Former President Trump says that he will not return to Twitter. So listen to what Mike Bowers has to say.
The former president told Fox News Monday that he will formally join his own Truth Social over the next 7 days as planned. Trump said, "I'm not going on Twitter. I am going to stay on Truth." He added, "I hope Elon buys Twitter because he'll make improvements to it and he's a good man. But I'm going to be staying on Truth." Tech experts say Truth Social has been sort of irrelevant since it launched in February. Trump himself, the man around whom the entire operation was built, has so far sent out one truth, and the special purpose acquisition company tied to Truth Social has lost 44% of its value since Elon Musk first disclosed his stake in Twitter. I'm Mike Bauer.
Ow, I wasn't aware of that. So hold on. So I just want to make sure that I got that. The whole system that was built around Trump, all of a sudden he's only used it once. That's weird. You'd figure that he would have used it more times, but I don't know anything about that system, so I don't want to go too far into the weeds there and talk about something I really don't know about. So here, anyways, McCarthy recording reveals that he was worried about GOP members following January the 6th. A new recording reveals the House Republican leader was worried that some right-wing members of Congress would incite violence during the January 6th Capitol attack.
So I'm calling Gates. I'm explaining to him. I don't know how much to say, but I'm going to have some other people call him too. But the nature of if I'm getting briefing, I'm going to get another one from the FBI tomorrow. This is serious to cut this out.
Okay, so there you go. The recording obtained in the New York Times includes McCarthy discussing Matt Gaetz of Florida and Alabama's Mo Brooks, while saying the country is too crazy for leaders to be tweeting recklessly in the days after the attack. Representative states of Louisiana also featured on the recording questioned Gaetz' action were potentially illegal. Yeah, so there you go. Some interesting stuff going on there, that is for sure, as we are talking and moving and grooving. So I don't know. It makes me question some things about what was going on in regards of how was the recording obtained? Maybe that's the other thing to start talking about, and what exactly what was being texted at the time, what was being tweeted, all that kind of fun stuff as we are going around and talking in regards of this. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other thing. Ford launches electric F-150 Lightning. It will be at least a year before someone can order the electric Ford F-150 Lightning, but officials celebrated the introduction last night. Listen to what Trey Thomas has to say.
CEO Jim Farley noted the Lightning is not Ford's only electric truck, but did not give details on the next model. He said the automaker will be producing 600,000 electric vehicles a year by the end of 2023 and plans to challenge Tesla as the top EV manufacturer. I'm Trey Thomas.
Oh, wow, that's really going far. You're going to challenge Tesla to be the top EV manufacturer. It'll be interesting to see what ends up taking place inside of there, that is for sure. Anyways, an LA County Sheriff says the reporters is not being investigated. The Los Angeles County Sheriff said the Tuesday they were investigating a reporter who wrote about an inmate abuse in the department. The LA Times reported that the claim in a recent article of the Sheriff's Department orchestrated a cover-up last year, and after the deputy was seen in surveillance video kneeling on the inmate's head for several minutes.
Somehow it landed in the hands of the third person, the reporter from the LA Times. Who did you get it from, and when did you get it?
A press conference yesterday, Sheriff Alex Villanueva claimed that the reporter was connected to his political opponent and that the surveillance video was an incident that was published by the Times and was stolen property. He later clarified that his comments, and he said that the reporter was not under criminal investigation. So there you go. Just some things to talk about as we are moving and grooving on this lovely, lovely, lovely Wednesday. Anyways, it is time to talk about that portion of the show that we talk about all the time. Let's go ahead and get into our main story.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so moving around, taking a look, doing the things, because that's always importante as we are talking and moving and grooving. So let's do this from the very top of the equation. Let's do this from the other side of the things that we need to do. because that's going to be important as we are moving. So taking a look around and trying to have a better understanding on what is going on. If you did hang out and see the titling this morning, let's talk about it. I called the bad boy here Safety Equilibrium, and you're probably going, hold on, what the hell does that mean? Because equilibrium normally means something else, and I pretty much have a pretty good idea what safety means. So what are you trying to say? So let's talk about this, because I think that we need to kind of break it down a little bit more opposed to just jumping in and going from there. But so if you're not familiar with the definition of the word equilibrium, let's do that real quick. It's a state in which opposing forces or influence are balanced, a state of physical balance, or a calm state of mind. So just in case, if you're not familiar with the terms, now you know the terms. So the terms are there, so we can talk about that. And as you start taking a look around and think about some of the way that your safety programs are set up, on how some of the safety inside of what is going on inside of your organization is managed, it is pretty much related to equilibrium. You have opposing forces on how things are balanced. Now, think about this real quick. If you have something inside of your job, if you have something inside of your workplace that you know that after several amount of times that this job gets done based on frequency, you averagely see X, whatever that be. So you know that if you have a accidental dismemberment, it might cost you X amount of money as an organization, but you continue to do it because you go, okay, the dismemberment does not actually, it doesn't cost that much in regards of how much money we're making. Sorry, but that's how those things are analyzed. You sit back for a moment and go, okay, well, that's part of the gig. That's part of the equation. It just really is on how it works. So that's the portions that you have. You have the people from the safety department, and you have people from the operations department, and they're pushing and going, okay, we're going to do it in this way, that format, and so on. And some people turn around and go, well, now we need to continue to push forward to make money. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand all businesses are arranged to make money, so let's not be confused on what that means. But also at the same time, too, as we are talking about this, that is where always you are going to get the push. You're going to get the push of, okay, well, this is going to work. This is not going to work. So that's something to think about. So as we move forward through some of these things, here's the thing to think. Where do you start pushing to make sure that you're able to continue forward? What forces are out there inside of your organization that make sense that you're able to move forward in regards of what you're doing? Because not all the time will that take place. Not all the time will people agree with what you're doing. Sometimes people will, sometimes people won't, but how do you move forward? And that's where some of the difficulty sometimes comes about. Because as you are moving, as you are grooving, as you are going through the whole thing, what happens? What happens when you can't move forward anymore because of the pressure being so high? How do you work around the system? Because that's some things to talk about. You can't always sit back and go, okay, this is going to work for us, if we don't have an understanding of what people are saying is not working. This is where the pushback comes from. So how often do you have conversations with people who do not agree with how your system is set up? How often do you have conversations with people who disagree with what is going on across the board? How often do you have conversations with people who do agree with what is going on? Because that's the fun thing. People sometimes tend to forget what is important in regards of, well, why are people pushing against the system? But sometimes we have to also understand, why are people agreeing with what is being done in the system? And you might sit there and go, what do you mean? Well, you don't want people just to agree what you're doing inside of the organization with systems, especially system safety, just because they like you as a human, because that's not the portion that you're looking for. You want to make sure that it's actually something that is obtainable and something that actually is worthwhile with working with, opposed to it just being something where people go, well, I like that person and I think that we should do it this way. I always look for negative comments. I always look for positive comments, because I want a combination of both things. If everybody's agreeing with everything that I'm doing, that means I'm doing something wrong. If I'm not pissing some people off in regards of what I'm doing, that means I'm doing something wrong. Seriously. It's always a happy medium. That's why I always think it's funny where people are like, oh my God, people are typing this or saying that inside of your comments and blah, blah, blah. People can like it. People can dislike it. People can do whatever they want. It's perfectly fine. That's what I want. I want positive and negative comments opposed to it just being nothing. Because that's where it gets weird. If they're saying nothing, what does that mean? So keep in mind of it in that way. So as you are looking at your system today, do you have a safety equilibrium? Do you have a safety system that is being pushed around, is pushed from one side and pushed from another? Seriously, that is the best of both worlds, because I'm going to tell you, it is those different conversations that will help you move forward. I will tell you in the jobs that I've had, some of the biggest people, or some of the people that had the biggest influence on what I was doing, were the ones that disagreed the most with what I was doing. I look back all the time that there was a gentleman out of Jacksonville when I was actually, doing multiple states regionally in regards to taking care of transportation stuff, that he would push back on almost everything that I did. And it wasn't that he was against anything being revolved in safety, but what ended up taking place was he wanted to challenge me because he wanted to have a better understanding. Because of him, I was able to understand better what exactly needed to be done on how you actually made those comments and moved forward with people. It's an interesting thing on how it works. So take those people that challenge you today or have challenged you in the past and make them think about what you're trying to do to make things better. The same thing with the people that agree with you. It's an interesting term on how it ends up working in the long run. Anyways, what the hell do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you. It's a new year, but it's feeling harder than ever to find and hire qualified people you need, especially for small businesses. That's where LinkedIn Job comes in. They make it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. You can create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of the most qualified people. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering qualified hires versus leading competitors. I have to tell you that we have used LinkedIn Jobs to even find some of the people that we have here at Safety FM. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free on linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it right here on Safety FM. There you go, 43 minutes past. This is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM and Radio Big. So let's talk about this. Yeah, this is Fragmented Memories. Boy, this could mean a lot of things. This is by Duckmao. How fragmented are some of your memories if you start thinking about it? You know, I am in that techno trance once again. I can't stop it. Want to move forward, but I can't stop it. Okay, so there you go. Thanks to Duckmao for allowing us to play this one. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. I like that one. I'm gonna actually add that one to the list. You just made the list. There you go. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start talking right away about some of the things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours as we are hanging and banging, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do together, because I think it's important for us to get back and talk. By the way, thank you, Jim Polzel, for the message that you shot across in regards to that. At some point, we need to get you back onto this thing. Probably we're not right at the moment, but we need to get you back onto this thing. So maybe we should make some plans on talking at some point tomorrow, just for the sake of doing so. So let's start talking right away about the most important thing that I will tell you during any show that that we get to hang out on. So this is what it sounds like. I have to tell you. I have to. It's not that I don't want to, but I have to tell you. Every time that we talk, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether if you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to their website at afsp.org. That's afsp.org. Or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Or text the word TALK to 741-741. No joke whatsoever as I am talking about this. Listen, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do on their website or by when you contact them. You can find out about real stories. You can figure out a way on how to get help, what you can do to make a difference, how to join a local chapter, and learn the facts. Yes, learn the facts about what is going on with this. Let's step out of the darkness when it comes to this information and let's start talking about it all the time, not sometimes, not have a designated week to talk about it. I always think that that's so silly. Forget about the week. Let's talk about it all the time. Because I just don't get it. I don't get it on why people go, we can only talk about it during a certain time. No. And I will tell you, I have had other people ask me, can we interview you on the week of suicide prevention? No. Let's talk about it all the time. I don't want it to be dedicated to a week. Yeah, I know. A little bias when it comes to that stuff. But seriously, we need just to focus on it all the time. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world of ours because, there is a lot going on and there is little time to have that discussion. So let's move forward and in regards of what is going on. So here you go. Man found dead in California high school campus was a federal informant. The man that was found dead in the California high school earlier this week was a federal informant who investigated the Deutsche Bank, then in connection with former President Donald Trump. So, here's some more information.
The man whose body was found Monday morning on the campus of Woodrow Wilson High School in El Sereno was initially described as a transient. The Los Angeles County coroner has identified him as 45-year-old Valentin Broeksmit, who had been missing for more than a year. Even though Broeksmit was missing, his Twitter account was still active. School police don't have video or evidence of him coming onto the campus and don't know how long he'd been there. The cause of death is also unclear. Daniel Martindale, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Daniel Martindale, for letting us know what is going on inside of the world over there, because that's always important as we are hanging and moving and grooving. So there you go. Just some information on what is going on. Let's talk about this one as well. Denver police investigating a deadly triple shooting. An investigation is underway after a deadly triple shooting in Denver's Green Valley Ranch neighborhood. Police Commander Matt Clark says that 3 victims were found in an apartment complex near the Tower Road and east of the 60th Avenue.
They've been shot multiple times. One individual is an adult male, another is an adult female, and we have a young boy who was also killed in the residence.
So far, no suspect information has been released. Tips can be called into the Metro Denver Crime Stoppers. Denver Police Commander Matt Clark says that anyone with information is asked to come forward.
We would appreciate any assistance the public can provide in tips, information regarding the individual or individuals who may be responsible for this. Anonymous tips can be made to Crime Stoppers at 720-913-STOP.
So there you go. Some information going on right there as we are talking. It's always one of those things that when you never know how to go to the general pub in regards of asking for assistance with that. Anyways, let's talk about this. Netflix is a joke festival to LA. Yeah, take a listen.
I got a joke for you.
Okay, so the Netflix is a Joke Festival is coming to Los Angeles with more than 100 big names comedy delayed since 2020. The festival kicks off tomorrow in Hollywood Bowl with Dave Chappelle. Other venues like Dodger Stadium and will be featured. Will feature performers like Conan O'Brien, Kevin Hart, Cat Williams, Amy Schumer, and Tina Fey. Tickets are not available. Wow, so hold on. That seems like a pretty big one in regards of thinking about that. Anyway, so as we are talking, let's talk about this real quick. What did I do with this? Should we do it? I think we're going to do it backwards today. Let's go ahead and go into your wellness moment first, and then we'll go from there.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by alasamorgan.com. As we are heading into summer months, let's talk about why it's helpful to remember that vitamin D from the sun is going to be superior to supplemental form of this vitamin. First off, let's not deny that all researched forms of vitamin D, from food to supplements, raise its levels in the body and help with vitamin D deficiencies, but that doesn't mean they're all equal. A study confirmed that vitamin D from the sunlight binds to vitamin D binding protein 100% of the time, which is what carries it to the liver to get converted into its circulating form. Ingested orally, only about 60% bound to D-binding protein, but in addition to that, vitamin D synthesized from the sunlight lasted 2 to 3 times longer in the body. This is why it's important to get this vitamin from the sun, regardless of supplementation. For additional information, check out alessamorgan.com.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Dan. Maya Angelou said, "Try to be a rainbow in someone else's cloud." Man, she's got some great quotes. I love this one. Some of my favorite moments in life have been times where I've witnessed this very thing. At one of the lowest moments in my life, we were in a tough financial position, and I had to meet with an attorney to go over an agreement that was supposed to renew with an increased monthly payment. He wanted to meet in person rather than doing this by email. And when we met, he said, "We want to revert to the original price," which was much less than we were paying, because he knew about our struggle and he was a great partner to work with. That was a beautiful rainbow in our cloudy day. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 52 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing our lovely thing on this lovely Wednesday. So let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world. Diets. Yes, diets. These days, many dietitians are telling us to do what perhaps you've always them to tell us to do. Stop dieting. Yes, the anti-diet dietitians, many of whom are getting the word out via TikTok using dances, trends, and science backed into research for younger people, are trying to steer people away from what they call diet culture, which prioritizes smaller sizes over health and drastic restrictions over lifestyle changes, where professionals want to have stress maximizing good foods and cutting out bad. These social media friendly experts are preaching maximizing the balance of sustainable changes and ending food-based shame. Sam Pertif, registered dietitian and founder of Fine Food Freedom, says if we are experiencing guilt and shame with food, we could have the most nutrient-dense meal in the world, and it's not going to be beneficial because of the psychological effects of dieting. They had me until they said lifestyle changes. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that safe to assume that these guys don't Photoshop their social media pics. So I'm just gonna say that out there. But I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thing. So you hear about intermittent fasting. I was reading a whole article yesterday about intermittent fasting and how you normally will say, okay, I'm not going to eat between a 14 to a 16 hour scenario, but then you'll lock yourself down for anywhere between, a few hours to eat. They said that it's no different, at least on this on this article, that it's no different than actually doing the same thing if you were calorie counting. So I guess it's something to think about. I'm definitely no expert in that, that's for sure.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so here you go. Taco chain chance on me. A Texas food delivery company is looking for someone with a unique set of skills, the skill of a vicarious appetite for tacos. Favor is taking applications now in the chief taco officer position. The winning candidate will drive across Texas, staying in cities 2 days and eating tacos delivered by Favor for at least 2 meals while there, which means that they can take tacos for breakfast and dinner. The CTO will be paid $10,000 in exchange of the taste testing tacos. A documentary experience of social media during June and July. The winning candidate will receive a free food, accommodations, transportation along their journey, plus free delivery from the company for a year. Interested in eaters should create a video application and submit it to Faber's website by May the 12th. 2 tacos in every city. That would be perfect for my teenager. she's trying to cut them down. So there you go. And I can tell you how many times college I paid to eat tacos for breakfast and dinner. Please don't groan when I say this, but I've got to ask, is gas included? Because, that's just something to talk about for sure as we are hanging real quick. Anyways, let me get you out of here real quick. Let me give you some of the stuff that we need to talk about. So back on this day, let's take a look. Back in 2014, The Last Week with John Oliver premieres on HBO. The late night show takes statistical satire, looks at news, politics, and events that are occurring on a weekly basis. Wow, that was 2014. It doesn't seem like that long ago. What else is going on? Let's talk about some birthdays real quick that are going on. Lizzo turns 34 today. Jenna Coleman, 36. Patrick Stump, 38. Jerry Trainer turns 46. Cory Booker, 53. George Gervin turns 70. Ace Frehley turns 71. And C. Robinson, he turned 74 today, just in case if you were trying to figure that out. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, today's National Gummy Bear Day, National Babe Ruth Day, National Devil Dog Day, National Prime Rib Day, National Tell a Story Day, Stop Food Waste Day, National Administrative Professional Day, and Denim Day. Okay, the day that I decide not to wear jeans, I guess it's Denim Day because of that. So there you go. Some things to think about. 57 minutes past the top of the hour. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to RadioBig.fm if you want to come and hang out and us to talk about the things that we talk about over there. Anyways, let me give you some whack facts real quick because we have some time to do so. According to a study, men change their minds 2 to 3 times more often than women. Every time you shuffle a deck of cards, you get a combination that's probably never existed. When pitched, the average Major League Baseball rotates about 15 times before it being hit. From a complete stop, a human is capable of outrunning a Formula One race car for about 30 feet. Only one person in recorded history has been hit by a meteorite. And last but not least, cats were once used as a to deliver mail in Belgium. It didn't last, just in case if you did not know this. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I have that for you. Experience is a wonderful thing. It enables you to recognize a mistake when you make it again. If you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What is the most embarrassing incident that you've ever experienced? And then if you need a question for the water cooler, try this. In a poll, nearly 30% of people admitted to do this every day, and they're not ashamed to admit it. What is it? Eat candy, so they're good for them. Anyways, you've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Radio Big and SafetyFM.com. Could not do what we do without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. We can make a living by what we get, but we can make a life by what we give. Think about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.